All right, joining me now, very, very excited to have a fellow Long Islander and an enormously popular figure in the wrestling world.
A lot of things about me are enormous. I can tell you that right now.
That's
Keep going.
okay. What you can share, but from AEW, big pay-per-view this Sunday, AEW Revolution in Los Angeles. He'll be taking on Hangman Adam Page. He is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, aka MJF. Maxwell, how are you?
That was solid. Got to give you credit. I go on here with a lot of people. They're schmucks, schmageggies. They have no idea what a good intro is. Justin, that was a solid intro. Congratulations.
All right. That's great. Yeah. I hope you said Justin by accident.
No, I didn't. Why? Is that not your name?
Perfect. My name is Jimmy, but you can call me Justin.
It started with a J. We're off to a great start. All right, hit me with some...
This is great because you're now the second person in the history of my interviews who've called me by the wrong first name. The first person was Jerry Seinfeld, so you're in good company.
That's another great Jew. I would say I'm a superior Jew, but that's another solid Jew. Absolutely.
Jerry actually called me after the interview was over to apologize for calling me the wrong name.
I won't be doing that. I won't be doing that. You can hold your breath on the apology.
I don't answer, like numbers not in my phone, but today I will in case you decided to.
Listen, James, let's just get on with this interview, okay?
Okay. I mean, appreciate it.
We're burning daylight here. I got to go to the Beth Francis Powerhouse Gym. I have a very big match against the Coward Man, the Hang person, Adam Page.
And it's Sunday again, LA. Now, we're fellow Long Islanders. You were on once before. It was one of my favorite interviews. We bonded over Long Island stuff.
That's what I do. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, as a Long Islander, you got to trek out now to LA. How do you feel about LA, the West Coast, as a New Yorker? Is it culture shock for you? Give me the MJF take on La La Land.
I don't think nothing about it is shocking to me because going into it, it's a horrible, horrible place. Anyone who's willing to live somewhere just so they can get a glimpse of a star, coyotes, it makes no sense to me. I don't get it. Look, I've already been in 2 major motion pictures, and I live in the most magical place in the world, Long Island, New York. I didn't have to sell my soul, okay? Move out to the West Coast where everybody pretends they have good Italian food. They do not have good Italian food. It is horrible. It is disgusting. The shopping centers also, I feel our shopping centers are superior. Our food is superior. Our women are superior. God, if we're being honest, our plastic surgeons are clearly superior because the woman here, it doesn't look like they're ripping their face off and putting it back on upside down. You go to LA, it is rough, my friend. It is rough.
Yeah, I had a feeling you weren't a huge
looking
fan.
40. It's terrifying.
Well, you're there for business. Like I said, AEW Revolution, you got the match against Hangman Page on Sunday night. So everyone should make sure they check that out. Did you get dressed up just for me? I mean, I'm thrown off by this.
I literally just got out of a business meeting in regards to my movie career. So now I am doing this interview with Sports Illustrated,
Yeah.
So
Justin from Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
And, all right.
Yeah. Go ahead. Jim.
I get very uncomfortable if people get dressed up for me. I don't like that. So,
well, I can tell you definitely didn't get dressed up.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. No.
The work from home life.
Sure.
All right, let's get into some. I'm going to try to navigate some wrestling things here.
Give it a shot. Good luck.
And we will get into your movie career too. But when you were on this podcast once before, it was December of 2023.
I was right before Tubba Goo, Samoa Joe defeated me by cheating for my beautiful Triple B, my AEW World Championship. Yes, that was World's End, which I believe. Oh, wrong side. I believe I have that there. I'm not giving you a thumbs up. I want to make that perfectly clear. I am pointing at the World's End sign on the bottom left corner. I've got a whole lot of random shit. I got hold on. I have like all these awards and shit. It's hard. It's hard to find room when you've done as much as I have in such an absurdly short period of time of national television exposure. But yes, it was me versus Samoa Joe. We sold out Nassau Coliseum. I believe before us, the last people to do that, I think it was Sergeant Slaughter in the main event against the name is escaping me. But as you can tell, it was a long time ago. WWE saw how well we did at Nassau, and they said, let's do a pay-per-view there too. God bless them. And I brought Nassau back, in my opinion. I made it cool again.
Since you mentioned that, I had totally forgotten it, but it just triggered me, and you'd be a perfect person to get a reaction from on this.
Very good at triggering people.
I went to that WWE Nassau Coliseum show because I live 5 minutes from the place and had great seats. And that was a night when Kevin Owens gave Cody a couple of pile drivers.
Yes.
And Cody was wheeled out on a stretcher right in front of me. And when Cody passed while he was stretchered, I screamed at the top of my lungs, Cody, got to get you back on my podcast. Come back on my podcast.
Yeah.
Some people thought that was a little too aggressive to do that while he was being stretchered out.
Did he respond?
No, he did not respond.
That's a little rude. You would expect more from him.
And he's been on a few times. We had a great rapport.
The roller coaster. He's literally a mentor of mine. Lovely guy. Bit of a fragile neck. You found that out that night, but lovely guy. Listen, I found time for Sports Illustrated. I'm salt of the earth. You're very welcome.
There you go.
All Elite Wrestling always has time for Sports Illustrated. So there you go.
I appreciate it. All right. So when you were on in December of 23, like you said, it was right before that big Nassau Coliseum show. The big talk at that time was the MJF contract. What was going to go on with MJF?
Yes.
That's all anybody wanted to know. Are you going to stay? Are you going to leave? And then I guess in 2024, you signed a new contract.
You guess. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Well, I try not to believe everything I read on the internet because there was one report that said your contract was for $15 million a year.
15 billion with a B.
No, M.
Oh, that's a little light.
Light.
That's a little on the light side. I can say that with full confidence. That's a little on the light side. Yeah.
All right. That was per year.
We're talking per year?
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say.
No.
So I was wondering, how long is that contract for, if you don't mind sharing that?
The response would be none of your business. But what I will tell you is the amount of money that I get by the time it is over far surpasses 15 million.
Right.
I am making top guy money, whether it be an All Elite Wrestling contract or a WWE contract. I will say this. I am 28 years old. Every single top act in professional wrestling besides me is either in their late 30s, late 40s, or early 50s. So, yeah, for the people who are panicked, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get to see MJF outside of All Elite Wrestling? Am I ever going to get to see MJF in this place, that place? Look, the reason I was paid top dollar is because I'm a generational talent. I won the bidding war. WWE didn't win the bidding war. All Elite Wrestling didn't win the bidding war. I won the bidding war because I am making an absurd amount of money. By the time the contract is up, I will still be absurdly young. And then I will be able, once again, to make an absurd amount of money in the next bidding war. And you know who's going to win again? Me. Now, All Elite Wrestling is winning for the simple fact that they get to have me on their television show. I am, without a shadow of a doubt, week in and week out, the biggest ratings draw the company has. I have been one of the top merchandise sellers since the inception of said company. I have been a top guy in this company since the inception of said company. And I'll give credit to Hangman as well. He has as well. He's a guy who has been swimming in the main event title scene since the very beginning, as have I. The difference is I earned it. That's the difference. I earned it by being a better talker than him, by being better looking than him, by being much better at dressing than him, by being a better professional wrestler than him, by being better at talking to media than him. This is what I do. You give me money because I am able to sell you, not just on me, but on any three letters I feel like. I can sell you on AEW. I can sell you on MJF. I can sell you on anything I want. And right now I'm going to sell you on Revolution because I genuinely think this is the most intriguing, and I'll call it a rivalry because I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy at all. Matter of fact, I hate him. I hate everything he stands for. And I hate the fact that people keep backing him because he's a lunatic and a bad person. But I digress. This is one of the biggest rivalries in the history of the company. And you're watching it culminate in front of your very eyes. And it's new and it's fresh. And it's interesting that it feels so new and fresh because we're 5 years in, but we've only touched one time in a singles match. I beat him, shocked to no one, but we only touched one time. And I'll be beating him again on March 9th in that hellhole that is known as Los Angeles.
You said you don't like him. Is there anyone in AEW you do like?
No.
I mean, yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, no. You know what? I tolerate Taz. He is a Long Island guy himself. He'll say he's from Red Hook. This man has been living in Long Island far longer than he lived in Red Hook. This man is a Long Islander through and through. We get along. We talk about bagels and delis and diners. I tolerate Taz. There you go.
Okay. I'm going to try to get a couple of things out of you with the contract, and we'll see how
it might not go well. I feel like I gave you more information than I've given anybody else.
I know.
I'm going to be very rich and very young by the time the contract is over.
Did you take the biggest offer that was available to you?
What do you think?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Am I a businessman or a mark?
Well, you're a businessman.
Am I? You just done. You answered your own question. I didn't have to answer for you. Next question.
Okay. And you won't tell me how many years you. Okay. All right. We did good with the contract.
We did very good with the contract.
We did good. We did good.
Let's get on to the question.
Yeah. And then I think so there was a lot going on. So like I said, you were on December of 2023. You had the match. The contract was a big thing. And then I think you had shoulder surgery after that, which kept you out.
I did go out. I hurt my shoulder. Did I have shoulder surgery? I am not. What do they call it when somebody asks about medical issues?
Oh, yeah. HIPAA violation.
Yeah. Because of HIPAA violation, you really shouldn't ask me questions like that. My shoulder, however, feels great. As you can tell, when I take my shirt off, I am the most in shape professional wrestler in my company. Not that that's hard. I would also gather to say I'm the most in shape professional wrestler. I would say I'm easily in the top 5 of the landscape. And that's without me having to,
All right. I'm going to
think too hard. Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to ask it this way, and you can tell me to piss off, which
Sure.
Why can't you say if you have shoulder, why can't I say that? Shoulder surgery.
You're not very bright. Listen.
Yeah. What's the secret there? Like, what's the big
It's
secret?
not that there's a secret. Look, my shoulder's good now. Shoulder feels good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other part of that, like I said, there was so much going on.
I am living, breathing, walking controversy. And do you know what controversy creates?
Money.
There you go.
Cash. This basketball season, when your favorite stars score buckets, we're alley-ooping you an opportunity to win money from watching sports with Underdog. Do you want to win up to 1,000 times your money? You can with Underdog. To play, choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats, points, assists, rebounds, blocks, and much more. You can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn $1 into $1,000 just with your hoops knowledge. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at the NBA and picking Luka Doncic for higher on basically all of his stats, but especially points, rebounds. I think Luka will be motivated after the big trade. The narrative out there is that he's out of shape. He doesn't work hard. And I think that's going to push something in Luka. So I'm looking at him here on Underdog to go higher, especially points and rebounds. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code Sports Illustrated to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with the promo code Sports Illustrated. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply, void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.com. next.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text Next Step to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. You lost, signed a new contract, shoulder something, and then in the middle of that, I think you started making movies, which you mentioned earlier.
Most certainly did, yeah.
Okay. Happy Gilmore 2.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how that comes about. The first Happy Gilmore, all-time comedy, legendary comedy. How do they get
Came out
MJF?
the year I was born, 1996. To remind you how young, handsome, and rich I am. How did it come about? Well, first of all, it all starts by having it, which is something that I have that almost nobody else in the industry has today. A lot of people try to manufacture it with neat music or pyro or, a interesting taunt or catchphrase. I was born with it. I got the audition because I am very talented and I have a very good representatives. I am repped by both activist and CAA. I am sure you've heard of CAA. I'm also sure that you've most likely heard of activists. And I've got the best team easily. They got me the audition. This is a true story. I'm not fabricating anything. I'm not being hyperbolic. Adam Sandler himself saw my audition and he was apparently laughing like a hyena. And then he said, I want this guy to not audition for the other role I auditioned for originally, but I'd like him to audition to be this role. I auditioned for that role and I got that role, which was a big role in the movie. And I'm very, very, very excited for the movie to come out.
That's what I wanted to get to. I don't know how much you can tell me, but is there a little bit of dialogue from MJF, a significant amount of dialogue from MJF? What can we expect?
MJF's eating pretty good in the movie.
Yeah, like if there's like an MJF fan who doesn't give a shit about Happy Gilmore and they go to see you
should certainly go see the movie. First of all, if you don't give a shit about Happy Gilmore, you have terrible fucking taste in movies and cinema. It's probably the greatest comedy of all time. But yeah, if you're an MJF fan and you just want to go in to see some smooth-faced MJF, because I was forced to shave my beard for this role, then you'll be seeing a lot of baby-faced Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
All right. So there's a decent amount of dialogue. So did you have scenes with Sandler?
No.
Well, I don't know what everything's all secretive.
Everything is very secretive. I can't help it. Things were signed.
All right. So there are scenes with MJF and the Sandman. We can expect that. All right.
Possibly.
They don't even tell. I can't even find out when the movie's coming out.
Listen,
that'd be nice.
Listen, when you have such a mega massive blockbuster like Happy Gilmore 2, right, we want to keep people on their toes.
That's fine. Yeah. And I asked because I know you were an Iron Claw, but that was not.
It was a snippet. It was fast. To me, the more important thing about Iron Claw for me was being an executive producer. I got to really, give a lot of my expertise during the filming of that movie, both as, a fan of professional wrestling historically and as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, a generational talent, and somebody that they can lean on and say, are we doing this right? Are we depicting this properly? Is this accurate? And I enjoyed that role quite a lot.
I've been to a movie theater 3 times in the past 5 years, and one of the movies was The Iron Claw.
Good for you.
And I was a little disappointed there wasn't more MJF.
I'm very curious, what were the other 2 movies, and were they pornographic?
Do they even have pornographic movies in theaters anymore? I thought that was like an 80s
people dressed
thing.
Like you, but yes.
I saw the movie Air.
Okay.
About the Michael Jordan, Nike, Adidas thing. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon.
That movie was tremendous.
Excellent.
I loved
it.
Very good.
And then the other movie I saw, it was not too long ago, there was a movie out, might have been called Saturday Night. It's supposed to be about the first night.
Yeah.
That
Saturday Night saw that. I saw that on the plane on the way to Dynamite last week, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were and the Iron Claw.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. All 3. You went out for the right movies, in my opinion.
Okay, I appreciate that.
The actor that portrayed Belushi, I thought, did an incredible job.
Yeah, the Milton Berle thing was that guy. That was funny stuff.
That was good stuff when he pulled his schwanz out. That was good stuff.
Yeah. And then in addition to Happy Gilmore too, there's other movies here with MJ. By my count, I saw 4 movies you're in now.
I'm doing very well. And the reason why it's so important for me, which was a part of the contract negotiations, doing these movies is it's not just about building my brand. Tony Khan, while he is a mark, he's not a dumb mark. He's obviously aware of the fact that the bigger I build my name, the more people are going to Google search me and go, MJF, AEW. What's AEW? All Elite Wrestling. I used to watch wrestling as a kid. TBS, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. All right, I'll give it a shot. And that's the power that I bring to the table. So yeah, it's a positive thing for everyone involved.
Do you ever envision a day where it's just movies and no wrestling?
You know, I get asked that question a lot. And my response is this. I have an age where I have a definitive out. It is not an age that I'm willing to say today for Sports Illustrated.
Does the age start with a 4?
I know the age. It's a good age. It's a solid age. Yeah.
Okay. So the definitive out, and then, but is there ever a definitive out? Like, I've been going through this with people with the whole John Cena thing. Like, it doesn't feel like anyone in wrestling. It doesn't feel like anyone has ever had a definitive out in the history of pro wrestling.
I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. It is because if you get into professional wrestling, you don't get into professional wrestling and be successful unless you either loved it prior or develop a love for it during, right? You'll see a lot of these people, they'll come into wrestling with no professional wrestling background, right? They'll be very good athletes. They'll come into our industry and they could have all the talent and skill and athleticism, even verbal ability in the world. They will fail and fail miserably. And the reason is because this is a very hard job. It is one of the hardest jobs possible. That's why we get paid a handsome amount of money to do so when we're in the upper echelon of this industry. It takes a toll, not just on you physically, but mentally, emotionally. It is a roller coaster. One moment you could be standing in front of 82,000 people in Wembley Stadium holding the world title above your head. The next second, you can have a fat slob choking you out in Nassau Coliseum in front of all of your countrymen. It is a roller coaster, you know? And I love the roller coaster. You think The Rock doesn't love the roller coaster? The man is the richest man in the world. Where was he this week, right? Do you think Adam Copeland doesn't love the roller coaster? The dude broke his freaking neck. He broke his neck. Bryan Danielson, concussion after concussion, came back. Christian concussions came back. The reason we come back is because we love the grind. We love the roller coaster. And I most certainly have a heart out, which we alluded to that 4 number. However, hard out to me means I'm not going to be on weekly TV, right? But it doesn't mean I can't come back to pop a crowd, to pop the boys, to sell some tickets, to sell some merch. That I don't think ever goes away. If you love this.
Right. All right. So you have the heart out. You have movie things going on. Mm-hmm. You have a relatively new deal with AEW that is paying you very well, as you said.
Incredibly well.
In doing a little research for this interview, you said I was a shitty interviewer, but I did do some research. No one has held the AEW title longer than you in the history of the company.
I'm also the youngest.
And the handsomest.
And
the most rich. The most rich.
But we're forgetting one thing. I also had the most successful title defenses as well. So it wasn't some campaign to just be able to hold the belt for a long period of time like certain other people with records. I was defending the shit out of that belt the entire time.
So my question is, besides making as much money as possible, do you have goals you want to accomplish in your time?
Yeah, I want to go down as one of the all-time greats. I am a generational talent. To be honest, I've most certainly already had a Hall of Fame career. If I sat here, as I'm sure you could after studying all the things I've done, the names I've beaten, the rivalries I've had, the memories I've created, the promos I've cut, the matches I've had, I've had, in the span of 5 years of national television exposure, hands down, one of the greatest professional wrestling runs of all time. That's why I get so offended when I see how much people love Hangman Adam Page but take issue or umbrage with me. I feel there's no better ambassador for All Elite Wrestling than MJF. So,
when you were a kid, did you prefer the heels to the faces?
Oh, yeah.
When you watched?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've gone through that.
Absolutely. Yeah. The reason that growing up as a kid, CM Punk was my favorite was because even when he was a quote unquote good guy, bad guy, heel face, I don't believe in these things. I'm just MJF. But I think the reason why I gravitated towards him so much was because good guy, bad guy, he was him. No matter what I'm doing, I'm me, right? And I think that's also why I loved Orton and Triple H. Honestly, never was a Danielson guy. That's why I really enjoyed beating the shit out of him in the greatest Iron Man match of all time. But I'll give him credit for this. In his entire career, he was always himself, never deviated. And I feel that's me too. Now, I've evolved. There are times where you will see me. I feel that if we're being honest here, both physical and mental scars that you obtain via wrestling year round, since the inception of building a company brick by brick, I feel I definitely have more of an edge to me now than I've ever had. I have more strength than I've ever had. I've had more speed than I've ever had. I have more in-ring IQ than I've ever had. You evolve. I'm 28 years old. They say pro wrestlers don't enter their prime until they're 38. So it's very interesting to say the least when you think about what legacy I'm going to be able to leave by the time I hang them up.
Sure. It is, when I did the research and show you at 28, it is amazing because it does feel like you've been doing this for a very, very long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's I would attribute that to the fact that I've been on top the entire time. You know, a lot of guys, they'll kind of I'll give a great example right now. Here we go. I will think of a name. Just give me 7 minutes.
I can give you 7 seconds.
All right, let's go with 7 seconds. All right, here we go. And I'm giving you an answer in 3, 2, 1. Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay has been wrestling much longer than me. Will Ospreay, I hate his guts, beat him, by the way, in 59 minutes, 59 seconds for what I then turned into the American Championship, which was the International. But what's interesting about Will is he feels so incredibly fresh. The man's only been on television for a year and a half, and yet he's been doing this for so much longer. And I think that is a huge part of again, the roller coaster, right? If you see someone on top for a long enough period of time, eventually you want change. Doesn't matter who the person is. Think of every single top name in the history of this sport. And then you get the change. Then you realize, ooh, I don't like this change as much as I thought I would. Let's give the ball back to the guy that we all know is a bona fide star, right? Will Ospreay is a guy that I think, as much as it pains me to admit it, when I think of both the present and future of this company that you are going to be able to lean on, I think he's one of those names. I think Swerve Strickland is one of those names. I don't think Hangman is. I don't think he has the stomach for it. I think the thing about Hangman is he's playing a role right now. I don't play. I'm a very real person. Hangman is trying to play the role of Heartless. I see Hangman do things and I see the remorse in his face after he does them. This sport has no time for remorse. Remorse is lost on the weak. I don't have time for remorse or empathy. I am trying to build the greatest legacy of all time. So
that's a good way to plug AEW Revolution Sunday, Los Angeles, MJF
March
versus
9th.
Page.
Crypto.com arena. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I still call it Staples Center still. I
totally get it. I'm just trying to be nice, but it's
like I still call Citi Field Shea Stadium. I'm too
I
old
miss Shea. Do you miss Shea as much as I miss Shea?
I did. Well, Citi Field's real. I miss the old Yankee Stadium. I'm a Yankee fan, and I hate the new Yankee Stadium. It's
It's
awful.
an airport. It looks and feels like an airport. It has
Yeah.
absolutely no personality whatsoever.
None. Right.
I
The old one was
know
tremendous.
in my heart, as a Mets fan,
Yeah.
that Citi Field is the better arena by leaps and bounds. I'm not
100%.
blind to that. However, the cool thing about Shea was when a big play would happen, because the building was so old and horrible, the entire building would shake.
100.
You would feel it. And it was like being a part of a team of people shaking an entire arena. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I've experienced that, not I'm a Yankee fan, so I wasn't at Shea Stadium for a lot of big games, but I was at Shea once for a Billy Joel concert. And when he did We Didn't Start the Fire, everyone stood up and was like sort of doing a clap jump. And I was having a panic attack because the entire section I was in was shaking, and I was not happy.
If we didn't do the demolition and turn it into Citi Field, I would have gave it about 3 more years until there was a serious accident.
Yeah. I asked you something a few minutes ago, and you said, "Oh, I get that question a lot," and I always hate hearing that when I do these because I don't want to ask questions that you get.
I didn't say I get that a lot in interviews. I get it a lot in my personal life.
Oh, okay. Then I like that question.
There you go.
What I was going to ask you is, and I like to ask people this question who come on a lot. What question do you hate getting asked when you do interviews?
I don't think I hate any question. I think if you hate a question, that means you've got something to hide or you're not intelligent enough to answer it. So,
and do you like doing interviews? Do you like doing this stuff, or do you look at it as sort of like it's part of the job you'd rather not?
I actually quite enjoy it because sometimes people can ask you a question or a thought that you've not stumbled upon in your own day-to-day life. Or somebody could bring something up from your past that you don't even remember. And you go, shit, I did do that. I got no problem doing interviews. And I really love when an interviewer asks me questions that they think, ooh, I'm not supposed to ask this one, because I have an answer for everything, as you noticed today.
As I've seen. All right, that'll lead me into this. Have you Googled yourself recently?
Yes, actually, I have. I typed in MJF, and the first thing that came up was MJF AEW tattoo removal. And then
there's a lot of that
came up was MJF Hangman. So it appears that there's a lot of interest in how much I hate this cowboy.
So when I Googled you, Google has the section of the most asked questions concerning what you Googled. So I thought I would throw these at you just to see maybe we could satisfy the Googlers out there. We've already
satisfy everybody.
The first question is MJF in a relationship? Which you don't have to get into that, but that was the first thing that came up.
I'm currently banging Alicia Atut.
Yes. Okay. I think most people would know that, but that was the first one that came up. The fact
also,
that that's number
one interviewer, Alicia Atut. She's very good at interviewing.
The fact that that's number one, though, would show the interest in maybe
women want to have sex with me, and I think that's a part of the reason why the female demo always goes up when I'm on screen. It goes up. I hate to admit it, when Hanger's on screen. It goes up when Swerve's on screen. We got a lot of young, sexy men, but I'm the only one who's a deviant. So that's
the next time your girlfriend and you, the next time you and your girlfriend, maybe there's a tiff, you could use that as your ammunition. You say, listen, the most Googled question about me is if I'm in a relationship.
Why are you talking to me as if this hasn't already happened in real life? This gets brought up a lot.
Got it.
A lot.
All right. Yeah. The second one we sort of covered. What is MJF's salary? People love to know about money. People love to know about money.
A lot.
Yep. The third one is, does MJF have ADHD?
Hardcore. My ADHD is very, very, very intense, and I find the only time I am able to focus on one thing, and this is not an exaggeration, is when I put the scarf on and I go to work. It is the only time. The rest of my day, I really struggle with it.
Does the ADHD, is it ever an issue for you in your job? Like, I don't know, during a match or a promo?
No, I can't even explain it. I truly can't explain it. When I walk through that curtain, I don't have it anymore. And I don't know why. There's zero explanation for it. Right. Because in every other facet of my life, it is an issue. It made learning close to impossible. It's funny. It took me it took me a lot longer to learn how to read and write than, which is funny when, when you think about how I've made my money via my mouth. But I was a really late bloomer when it came to learning how to speak point blank at all.
Yeah.
Because somebody would be trying to teach me how to speak, and I'd be fucking in la la land thinking about 70 different things at once. But for whatever reason, when I walked through that curtain, it's gone.
How old were you when not when you first knew you had ADHD, but when you first knew you had it and how it affected you?
Well, it always affected me. I just thought there was something wrong with me. And I was right. I mean, fuck, it's definitely, there is. It's a disorder.
Right.
But I do get annoyed because when I would be in school and I would hear people be like, oh, I can't concentrate, I must have ADD. Suck my dick. Because there's really, truly levels to it and people don't understand. Like,
sure.
I really, really, to this day, I struggle with reading comprehension. I struggle. I could be in the middle of a sentence with the woman I'm banging, and I'm gone, and she knows. It's just like, oh fuck, and then she has to be like, you were saying this, you were talking about this, and I'm like, okay, yeah, back on track. And the first time I noticed it. I mean, it was hard to notice it because it was just. It'd be like asking somebody, when did you notice you had bad eyesight? You didn't notice you had bad eyesight until you took a fucking eye exam and somebody told you, hey, this is not how human beings are supposed to be able to see. So, I just remember I would get in trouble all the time in school because they felt that I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, no shit. Or I wasn't able to study. But yeah, for whatever reason, when it comes to professional wrestling, it's like it just vanishes.
It's so fascinating because you say once you go through the curtain, it goes away for that time period. Yeah. And, with what you do for a living, when you're in that ring, it is extremely, extremely dangerous if you're not 100% focused.
Yeah. I'm just so in the moment.
Yeah.
Which I think is also why I stand out because I watch some people in my profession and you can tell that they are not in the moment and you feel it. And they look like a deer in headlights. They look terrified. In between every little thing they do, it looks like they're thinking to themselves, well, what do I do now? I'll tell you what you do. You beat the fucking shit out of the guy and you win the match. It's not rocket science.
Let me piggyback on that since you said it. We talked about you're only 28, but you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, 10 years this year.
Yeah, you're the top name in that company. Do other wrestlers come to you for advice, guidance,
Absolutely.
tips?
Yeah.
You don't tell them to piss off? I'm surprised.
You know what? They do come up to me, and what I always do is I tell them this. I said, here's the deal. I'm a little busy right now, but text me or call me, when the show's over. And then I just don't answer. Or better yet, in the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, sometimes I give the wrong advices.
But people do come to you in the company for.
Yeah, of course they do. I'm
all right,
one of the biggest names in the fucking industry.
They should.
Yeah.
All right. I want to, I always want to be respectful with these things, and I don't want to bombard you with WWE questions because that's not fair to you. You're an AEW. That's what you're talking about.
AEW, slowly but surely, I feel is growing all over again because what we're doing right now is we're putting undoubtedly great content out, and the great content is me. It's got nothing to do with Tony Khan. He's a fucking moron. It's got everything to do with me. You're tuning in to see me, right? And I'm back, and I've been back, and I'm interesting, and I've been interesting. So we're on a tear right now, and people are very interested to see me and Hangman go at it.
And you can see MJF Sunday, March 9th from Los Angeles, AEW Revolution.
All right, now ask your WWE question.
I would not be doing my job if I had you on Monday, March 3rd, when on Saturday we saw John Cena turn heel.
Sure. So John Cena's a good friend of mine. Good friend of mine.
I know you guys. I think the last time you were on, we talked about you bumping into him. Yeah. So So I just want to know this. Were you watching the show? Did you get a text? How did you find out he turned heel? Were you shocked he turned heel? This is like the big talk. It got so much attention. I can't have the top guy from AEW on, not ask him. So I just give me your whole take on the John Cena.
I get really annoyed when people in either company pretend that they don't. Let me put it this way.
Yep.
Yes, I was watching it. I was watching it live. It was an awesome moment, and everybody should think it was an awesome moment because it was point blank, end of discussion. In my opinion, if you're
can I push back?
Go ahead and push back, please.
If this is going to be one of the top moments in pro wrestling history,
Travis Scott be burning sage in the corner, is that what you're going to bring up?
Should Travis Scott be there? Period. I don't care what he's doing.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate because I am the devil, right?
Okay.
Somebody might have said that about Dennis Rodman when he was standing there with the NWO back in the day, but because Dennis Rodman was there, ESPN picked it up. Serious news affiliates picked it up that ordinarily wouldn't give professional wrestling the time of day because they're fucking morons, right? They think they're above pro wrestling. Everything is pro wrestling, right? So Travis Scott being there, even though people like me or you or wrestling fans who've been watching it and are just like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? I don't have an emotional attachment to him. We might feel that way, but a Travis Scott fan who works at ESPN or Fox or MSNBC or CNN does not feel that way. And they might go, oh shit, Travis Scott was involved in this. We should talk about this, right? So that's me playing devil's advocate.
Okay? Yeah, I don't buy any of that, but I don't want to argue with you.
But I'm just simply playing devil's advocate. I'm not even saying these are my feelings. I am just playing devil's advocate. Now, I'm going to take a couple steps back now and go back to you almost looking afraid and sheepish to ask me this question. If you are in the world of professional wrestling, if you are a top guy and you don't watch as much or consume as much professional wrestling as you possibly can you call yourself a student of the game? Can you say you're giving your best foot forward? Can you claim to be one of the best in the sport? In my opinion, no, you absolutely cannot. So if you were to ask a WWE star, have you been watching AEW? And they say no, one of two things is happening. One, they're lying through their fucking teeth, or two, they don't care enough about this industry to study what's going on in it. I watched TNA.
Can I defend myself for 1 second?
Go ahead.
I didn't want to assume you were watching only because maybe you're out with your girlfriend. Maybe you have an AEW thing to do. That was why.
I am in my beautiful home on Long Island, the most magical place in the world, and I watched Elimination Chamber.
We could have watched it together. All right, go ahead.
I don't know about that. Now, and I can assure you that there'll be plenty of WWE wrestlers that are going to be watching Revolution. Because if you are a real professional wrestler, scratch that. If you're a real athlete and you aren't in the clue or in the know of what's going on in your sport, I pity you. I think you just do not take your job seriously. And I take umbrage to that. But yeah, dude, it was awesome. It was fucking awesome. Right. Yeah. So yeah, very cool moment. And we'll have plenty of cool moments too on March 9th.
Well, I think this goes for WWE, AEW, and any other wrestling company that's out there. I've said this before whenever I talk to anyone in the wrestling business. I think it's got to be so frustrating for everyone who does what you guys do from the standpoint of it's just so hard in this day and age to keep things a secret and to actually have legitimate surprises.
Sure.
Because of social media and wrestlers talk to dirt sheets or whatever the case may be. So, when you get one of those moments, like I said, we can analyze Travis Scott or this or that. Mm-hmm. The fact that nobody knew that was coming, I think, is what is that what the ultimate is for your business, is giving the fans something they never saw coming?
It's, you don't want, I'll put it this way. Do you like M. Night Shyamalan?
I liked Signs.
Okay. But there are some movies where the twist is just kind of fucking dumb, right?
Right.
And you're just doing a twist for a twist. Yeah. Not every twist is good. It's not always good to not give the people what they think is coming, but it is good when it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to me, when I go out there, I don't know what's going to happen until it happens because I'm real. I can't speak for everybody else. I'm real. I'm authentic. I genuinely don't like Hangman Adam Page. I genuinely have an issue with the hypocritical fans who claim that he's a good guy and I'm a bad guy when he's done far worse things than I. I genuinely am looking forward to beating the shit out of him on March 9th. This is all real for me. And because it's all real for me, it makes it real for the viewer. All right? But yeah, in my opinion, when I watch a movie or a TV show, if a shocking thing happens and it makes sense, that's pivotal. And it's the pinnacle. So, and yeah.
All right. And then one other question, then maybe we could spend a couple of minutes just talking about Long Island food again. But,
Okay.
And if you don't want to answer this question too, we can edit this right out. But
I'm not afraid of anything.
I think well, it's not even afraid. You just might not want to. So I have a friend who goes to the same gym as you.
Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym.
I'm shocked you give that information out. Do people stalk you there?
All the time, yeah. But it's
really
people. This is Long Island. Everybody's coming up to me just to tell me how great I am. Why wouldn't I love that?
So why do you mention where it is? You want the stalkers coming to the gym?
No, I want everybody to know about this gym. I think it's genuinely the best gym in the world. Like truthfully, I don't think it gets better than that gym. Everyone in that gym is pushing themselves to be the best versions of themselves. Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym, Syosset. Check it out.
All right. It's like 5 minutes from where I grew up and where my parents live. So
there you go.
I know someone who goes to that gym, and that person told me that I guess it was last year around this time when it looked like the WWE was going to put Cody aside and put The Rock in the main event of WrestleMania against Roman Reigns, that you went into the gym the next day and we're screaming and yelling about the WWE screwing your friend. And I never said that on a podcast because I don't know if it's true, but I figured I'm fascinated if that is true or not.
I don't think that happened. Okay. Is it plausible that it might because I love the American roller coaster, Cody Rhodes, my mentor, my close friend? It's plausible, but I cannot say for certain that occurred.
All right. The report I got was you were like, oh, they screwed him again. They fucking screwed him.
Yeah. I don't know.
It sounded somewhat believable.
It doesn't, I don't know. I mean, it sounds believable, but it also sounds not believable. So there's definitely two ways to look at it. I don't remember.
So tell me what happens at the gym, with fans. Do they actually just go to the gym to see you?
Yeah.
They can't get in though, right? I mean, I would imagine
like Rocky, when people they're just watching Rocky. I mean, your legs, thousands is a real thing,
Yeah,
I'll be on the Stairmaster for an hour and I'll just see people, And
you're just so used to it, it doesn't faze you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, dude, every time I leave my house, somebody notices me.
I was going to ask, do you get recognized around Long Island a lot?
I get recognized everywhere a lot. I'm on.
Give me a good getting recognized on Long Island story. Famous people have stories about, they're at a urinal.
Bagel Boss. I've been going to Bagel Boss my entire life since
Hicksville.
In Hicksville. Since
that's the only one to go to.
Yeah. Since
did you get me? I got pissed off a few years ago. Remember there was the short guy had a meltdown in one of the Bagel Bosses.
I do remember that. I do. Remember.
I didn't like that besmirched the Bagel Boss name because
it's truly unfortunate. And that small man, he might be dead now in a ditch. It's very plausible. I've not heard about him. He
was very angry.
He was a very angry boy. Very angry little child. But yeah, I go to the one in Hicksville, which is by Staples, if you know. And I've been going there when I was a kid in high school because I hated school and I wasn't paying attention. And I would just be smoking pot with my friends. And I would go to Bagel Boss at 1 a.m. in the morning for some, bagels with lox and cream cheese and some tuna fish, as Long Islanders do.
The people listening, I just want to say, for people listening outside of Long Island, the Bagel Boss we're talking about is open. It's a 24-hour bagel store.
Yes,
that's why he said 1 a.m.
Is in reference to a drug called marijuana. Okay, so I would go there. I get my. So we're talking. I've been going to this place since I was a little kid. I enter there. This was last year. The manager was there and starts having a fucking meltdown. MJF, holy shit, free bagels for life. I get bagels whenever I want for life. Don't have to pay at Bagel Boss. Easily one of the best moments of my life. So yeah, and I abuse it. I abuse the fuck out of Bagel Boss in Hicksville. I most certainly.
I am. So what I need to do is when this goes up on YouTube, I need to get that video on my phone of me interviewing you.
Yeah.
Show the people in Bagel Boss and say, "Am I eligible?"
No, the answer is no. I'm the only person that is allowed free bagels. It's because I have the key to, as you I'd imagine know this, I have the key to Long Island. It's actually
right. Yes, I remember that. That was around a year ago also. Yeah.
Right there. Am I pointing at it? I don't know if you can see it. The little key, and then there's little me under it, and then all the numerous awards I've won in my life.
The key to Long Island.
Key to Long Island?
So were people, so he had a meltdown because you were in there, and then do people start freaking out that MJF is in?
Yeah. And another one I went to, it's so funny. Listen, here's what I do on Thursdays. Every other week, I do what I call the Pores dinner experience. And what that means is this.
You have no idea how excited I am for this, by the way.
Okay.
I'm like leaning in. Okay.
I still have, unfortunately, a palate for some of the food that I used to consume before I became heightenedly rich, right? I'm talking, melting pot, Applebee's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Hooters. You get it, right? Jimmy Buffett's. So 1 week I will take the woman I am banging to, say, Rare or 110 or just think of a very nice restaurant we go. And then the next week we go to the Pores, right? So I went to Melting Pot this Thursday in Melville.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, it was there was a line of people waiting to take a photograph from me. And all I wanted to do was eat my sharp cheddar cheese fondue. I was polite because these are all Long Islanders. If this was occurring in any other place in the world, I would have poured the boiling hot cheese over their head in a matter of seconds. But it's Long Island, and I love Long Island, so they get the nice MJF experience. It's the only place you can get the nice MJF experience.
Do you ever want to snap when someone's bothering you, like if you are with your woman? You can't because everyone will film it.
No, I don't. You think I give a shit about that? Type in MJF fan. I don't care.
I forgot who I was talking to.
Yeah, I'll headbutt a fan on the bridge of the nose. I don't care. My whole thing is this. If I'm on Long Island, I owe it to everybody because it takes a village. I'm not me without this place. Point blank, end of discussion. If I am off the island, if you try to approach me, just Google what happens when you try to approach MJF when I'm not in the most magical place in the world. It's a fun Google. It's a fun Google for sure, yeah.
All right, well, unfortunately, you're going to be off to not the most magical place in the world, Los Angeles. Yeah. But fortunately, people can watch you in action this Sunday night, March 3rd, AEW Revolution, MJF versus Hangman Adam Page. And I'm sure you will put on quite a show for everyone tuning in.
I don't give a shit about putting on a show. I care about winning and getting the winner's purse and proving to everybody that Hangman Adam Page is a fraud and a yellow-bellied coward. And I will be doing that on March 9th. Thank you so much, Jim.
Yeah, that's fine. Jimmy, James, Jim, whatever it is.
Sports Illustrated. It's been an absolute treat. I hope you have a good one. My name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it.